Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome to What the Pause? My name is Emilia Cartsonas, and I want to wish everybody a happy new year. 2026 is going to be fantastic for everybody. I know that in my heart. And I cannot wait to spend this new year with you with new episodes and some new surprises coming up in the near future. I also like to say hello to my new followers and new subscribers and new listeners who were so fantastic with me over the holidays, especially on the social media platform Threads. If you're not on Threads yet, or you don't understand what it's all about, if you're an Instagram member, then you can easily get a Threads account as well. Highly recommended. Excellent for those. People think it's for Gen Zs. It is not. I'm finding a lot more women over 40 actually on it. So if you have a chance, get that account and follow me on What the Pause on Threads. And anywhere that you do have your social media, you can listen to these. Okay, so let's get right to it. Today's topic, today's episode is I'm not invisible. I'm not antisocial. You just don't get it. I'm in menopause. So, what does that mean? Okay. You know that moment when you're in a room full of people and no one makes eye contact with you anymore? I remember being 30, and yes, we all can remember, late 20s, early 30s, how hot we were. We didn't have to, diet as much and work out as hard and all that fun stuff. Very little effort to make yourself light up in a room, right? And when you get to 50, let me tell you, sometimes I feel, is it me that I feel invisible, or is it society making me feel this way? Because no one's making eye contact with us anymore. And it's not because you said something awkward. It's not because you're wearing something that's a little bit interesting to a cocktail party. Just because you're over 50. Suddenly, you're not a woman. You're a utility. Like, for example, oh, well, she probably knows where the bathrooms are. Ugh, she looks like she brought some snacks. Wait a minute. When did I stop being interesting and start being helpful? Hmm. Menopause is lonely. Not like a sad playlist, where you just want to cry yourself to sleep. That's part of it. But it's a specific loneliness where you're surrounded by people who love you, but they don't understand what the hell you're talking about. You may try to explain to them that I'm exhausted, but wired. My joints hurt, but my brain left the chat. And then they give you some really, advice that you really didn't get that got you solicited, let's just say that. Have you tried magnesium? Have you tried tea? Have you tried this? Oh, yes, Karen. I've tried magnesium. I've tried yoga. I've tried breath work. I've tried journaling. And I've tried screaming into the void. But the void is unhelpful, but supportive. So eventually you stop complaining. I found myself doing that. I found myself when I was really in the beginnings of my perimenopause journey or my menopause journey that I didn't want to go out. I was just too lethargic. I really didn't have the energy to even make the effort to put on makeup and put on something nice to wear because I wasn't in the mood. And my partner knew it. As soon as he knew that I was not in the mood, whether it be me dragging myself or me just going into rage mode, he would be, okay, we're not going anywhere. So I became very self-aware of when I knew I was going to have to cancel plans because at the time of confirming them, I was in a state of, yeah, let's do it, right? And then, the event comes up a few days later, and then your entire mood changes. Okay, who's with me on this one? I know there's a lot of you out there who do think this. Not only do you cancel plans, you also ghost group chats. You may forget when your friends' birthdays are. And it's not that you're being antisocial, right? but because you don't have the energy to translate this experience, okay, for your friends into subtitles so they'll get it. So let's talk about becoming invisible because it's not subtle. One day we're all being marketed anti-age serums, and the next day it's orthopedic shoes and funeral planning emails. Yeah. At work, you're now, quote unquote, experienced, which is corporate for, listen to this, we're not promoting you, but please train everyone. And sometimes I know of women who've actually received a layoff notice at their work, and then they are asked to train their replacement. What sadistic, misogynistic male crap is this? Okay. Even the ladies who are, yeah, there are boss ladies and they're bitch bosses, and then there are really bitchy bosses who don't give a shit about empathy or don't have any empathy, let's just say. So they don't care. You're going to train your replacement. Well, you know exactly which finger to give them, right? What's even worse is when we get older and we're into this stage of life at the doctor's office, right? I said this in my part one of my last episode last week. And we say, the doctors will say, it's probably stress. Oh, this is all due to aging. Oh, and the beautiful one, which has been around since day one, it's likely all in your head. Yeah. So again, I would say, well, if this were in my head, I would be thrilled because at least I'd remember why the fuck I walked into the room, right? You didn't lose relevance. Society just quietly reassigned you. No meeting invite, no memo, just vibes. And society sucks a lot of the times. That's why women like me, women like yourselves, women over 45, my late millennials, early Gen Xers, and those in late stage meno like me at 54, do not throw me into the pasture. Okay? Do not try and make me invisible. I will scream about menopause through the rooftops. I will make it my mission so that men, women of all ages, all societies, all cultures understand that a woman over 50 is not a dead woman. All right. And this is where women collectively together, we can bring ourselves up, promote our own businesses, and start becoming visible to those boomer and veteran white men who put us in this position. Yeah, I said white man. All right. Let's not forget who is trying to take over the world. Okay. But I digress. There is a grief in this phase, though. Right? You grieve the version of who you could push through anything. The woman who ran on caffeine, cortisol, and so much people pleasing, it was nauseated. Menopause changes the rules and does not send the updated terms and conditions. Absolutely not. One day we don't know what we're signing on for. The next day we want to sign on for something else. Instead of asking for help, what do women do best? We internalize, we minimize, we say, I'm fine, or it's okay, or I'm sorry, I'm not feeling myself today. Even when we are deeply unwell, but very polite about it. You're not weak, you're renegotiating. And no one negotiates gracefully, especially those going through hormones, right? So let me say this. Hormones are not cheating. They are not giving up. They are not a personality flaw. Because remember, puberty, we had our adults, books, and conversations. So why is menopause the figure it out yourself phase? Support doesn't make you feel less strong. It makes you feel less rage-filled at your nearest home sense. Are you hearing me, ladies? Yeah. When you take HRT or when you take those supplements or setting those boundaries, naps, you're saying no, and that is it. This is not a thesis statement. This is basically you making sure that you don't get a medal for suffering. You just get tired and you're on a shorter fuse, which is perfectly normal, ladies, that you do feel this way, that you do feel angered by society, that you do feel invisible by others, that sometimes we feel invisible to our own partners, which is why there's a lot of reflection when we look at our partner and we're with our partner for a long time per se. And then you go into this new phase of life and then you just turn around one day and say, what the fuck am I doing with you? Am I going to waste the next 25, 30 good years of my life left living this Groundhog Day story? Now, I'm not saying that applies to all of you, but if you are thinking about your marriage during this phase of perimenopause or at 50 years old, you're not alone. We all thought about this and we thought we were crazy at the time for thinking about it. No, it's not being crazy. It's actually you are rewiring yourself. You're transforming those thoughts into something that's going to be more productive for you alone and nobody else. Okay, I hope that helped. So let's move on to this transformation we're talking about. This big energy shift. So here's the plot twist, right? What is there on the other side of this? Yeah, there is clarity when you shift your energy from being less tired because you're trying to be a people pleaser, you're doing this perimenopause thing without support. Now you have this transformation, this ability to take the supports that you need to create this new version of you, the version that was of you back in your late teens, early 20s. There's clarity on the other side of this. Once you put up those boundaries, get that support in place, you stop over explaining. You stop tolerating nonsense. As people say, we stop giving any fucks. I don't really like that term. I've said this quite a few times in my previous podcasts, but I just do it to keep the peace. Your circle gets smaller. Yeah, friends come and go. The ones that I've known, boy, I've known friends. I've had friends since I was in kindergarten. Grade 1 that I can remember, but I've lost touch with them because I chose to. But there are some from, grade 7, grade 8 and onward that, especially in my high school, I still talk to my girlfriends and we've known each other for 40 years. It's crazy how time just flies so fast. You may not see them as often. Where I live, I'm literally at least an hour away from everybody. So it does get smaller. But you know what? They're always there for me and I'm always there for them and we're there for each other. So the circle may have gotten smaller, but it has definitely gotten stronger. What about your bullshit detector? Oh yeah, that improves to a military grade, all right? And your confidence, once you get over that hump, once you get into some lane of clarity in your thought, your confidence gets quieter, but it's lethal. This isn't decline, it's discernment. You didn't disappear, you distilled. So if you've been feeling like you're isolated, if you've been feeling invisible, if you've been wondering whether this is just how it is, that just drives me crazy. This is the way it is. So you're telling me that, at 50 years old, you decided to cut your hair short, just give up on going to the gym or taking a class because someone said something because of your age. Stop that bullshit right now. Because I'm going to tell you this. As a professor, I use the college facilities to do my workouts. I'm double these people's ages, okay? I am their mother's age. And have I seen some of my students in there? Yeah, but they are very respectful because I've warned my students, if you see me in the gym, do not talk to me, just wave. because the universal sign for leave me alone are headphones or AirPods or earbuds. So I'll go in there. And yeah, I'm 54. You guys in your early 20s, late teens. And what's really interesting is that I see the guy staring, but it's almost an amazement. Like, wow, I wish, like, even one of my students said to me, I wish my mother would go to the gym. I tell my students and I'm telling my friends and I'm telling you guys here, we do not need to prove to these people that we need to become invisible because of the way we look or because we're 54 years old going into a gym with college kids. People will say I have guts, but I don't care. I've always been this way. I don't give a shit, right? You don't like the way I look? Then look the other way. I refuse to get my hair cut short. I refuse to go gray, and I can go gray because my father actually went gray when he was in his late 40s, early 50s. I've got tons of gray, but then I use a color dye shampoo. Anyway, any sponsors, if you have any hair color shampoo for me, send it my way. But no, really, honestly, seriously here, guys. I'm not conforming to what we used to see. Remember, guys, when we used to watch the Golden Girls with our families and or even on your own, and you would say to yourself, wow, they were retiring at 55 years old in Florida or in their 60s. But those women were actually in their late 40s or 50s, early 50s on the show. So Rue McCallaghan would be playing, these slutty little Blanche Devereaux, not ranch sauce, sorry, Blanche Devereaux. And she would be walking around just really very proud of the fact that she was very sexy, what have you. And she acted, and they acted older for their ages, but it was just a whole misconception and misrepresentation of what a 50-year-old should be looking like today in 2025. That show was aired 40 years ago. So it's something that I knew when I was growing up and I was seeing different evolutions of being 50, quote unquote. The 80s being the best in terms of the dynasty era, but whatever. 2000s came along. And now in 2025, we see on TV the women that we grew up watching, and they're embracing their midlife, right? So don't try to conform to that idea that a woman over 50 is useless, which a lot of men say in their minds. A lot of men in leadership say in their minds, okay? HR directors have been conditioned to not hire women of our age, although we are the best women to get hired because of our age, because of our experience, because of the wisdom we can bring to others. And we bring along a lot of empathy, intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, and the experience that comes with us, even as mothers. No man can match us in that regard. Okay, so yeah, am I diverting here? Maybe a little bit. So let's get back to it and let's close this up, because if you've been feeling invisible and you're saying to yourself, this is it, no, I've given you some ideas already. Look into your relationships. Look into those friendships that you value, and those who do not value, who do not respond back to you, or through the gossip mill. Like, well, I know with my friends, I probably heard indirectly, what's wrong with Emilia? She hasn't been coming to my Christmas parties for the past couple of years. Well, you know what? I've been going through a really bad time with perimenopause, and B, I have perimenopause. Bingo. That's it. Those words alone should not have to me explain further, because any woman going through it or who has gone through it will understand and accept and not judge you or take you off the list for next year's party or whatever the fucking case may be, right? So it's too bad, because I'm a really great time, but nonetheless, I live too far from my group, but I do have an excellent group here where I live from very different generations, but nonetheless, they are family. So I know I am not alone in that regard, and neither are you. You are not alone, and you are not broken, and you're absolutely not done with life at 50. This chapter isn't about shrinking violets or hiding under your comforter, not getting out for 10 years. It's about choosing yourself. And I choose me too. I choose myself with better boundaries and way less patience for nonsense. If this resonated with you, send it to a woman who's been very quiet lately. She's not ignoring you. She's just recalibrating, as some of us are now. So this is very, very important to ensure that when we go into 2026, we've shed the skin from 2025. We're going to be going through a very interesting year of creativity. The first 6 months are going to be a colossal roller coaster, okay, in terms of the world, in terms of communications. Communications will improve, apparently. Technology always has to recalibrate as well during the first 6 months of the year. Don't ask me why. It's something that I have read and heard many, many times. I want you to think about your goals for 2026. And I'm not talking about, I want to lose 20 pounds. No, stop that shit, okay? Please listen to my other episodes. If you are looking into GLP-1s, especially in perimenopause, please listen to that and don't go and believe the hype of some high celebrity doctors, okay? That episode has a lot of research and studies involved. We're going to focus on making our confident selves come out brighter, come out with not being quiet. We're screaming from the rooftops. We're going to put menopause in workplaces. We're going to get policies in place to make sure that women are protected when they come into a certain age. And in Canada, this is something that I am personally going to be looking out for and you can all laugh at me, all right? But if I don't do anything about it, or if others like me really want to get together and do something about it, let's do it, because I really want HRT to be covered under OHIP, just like the birth control pill has been covered under OHIP. Well, this is the Ontario Hospital insurance plan. So this is more provincial. So sorry to my ladies from out of country, my apologies. But if you don't have HRT covered, it should be the first damn thing covered along with that birth control, right? Okay. So I'm really excited, ladies. This is going to be a fantastic year, especially for the podcast. I'm going to be featuring my first video podcast. Don't worry, the audio is always going to be available because I know a lot of you don't like to watch the video, but this is going to be an interview with my menopause coaching client. And I cannot wait for her to jump on and talk to her, not only about her perimenopausal experience, but also why she chose to work with me. And no, it's not a sales pitch, guys. That's not me. I like to have organic growth and following. I'm not here to get sponsors and, grow 1 million followers, because I'm not Mel Robbins. All right. So I hope you will join me on that one. I'm very excited. We're going to go into shooting next week. And then I have 2 more guest speakers as well. They'll be sharing us their experience through the menopause. And then I'm also going to have some really fun questions for them that they will not be getting in preparing for their visit with me. So, guys, I hope this helped you out, because you're still here and you still matter. And trust me, guys, we're just getting started for 2026. So in the meantime, be well, be safe, and embrace the pause. See you next time.